Tell me about your ambitions in tennis.
What do you mean?
When Coco Gauff walked off the court after winning the Wuhan Open final, she didn't just lift a trophy. She reportedly walked away with a prize package worth $25 million, a figure that instantly sparked debate across the tennis world. That is not a small number. And while Gauff celebrated with her team, reports suggested another Grand Slam champion, Aryna Sabalenka, was frustrated behind the scenes over the growing gap at the top level of the sport. This is not being framed as rivalry or personal tension between players, but as part of a much bigger conversation happening in professional tennis right now about money, value, and inequality. Starting with what actually unfolded in Wuhan. Gauff's win in the final was a strong statement performance. No doubt about that. She played with the composure and control fans have come to expect from her at the biggest moment.
I think I just enjoyed the fact that, everything is on your racket, your terms. My first tournament that I won, I was 8. It was Little Mo in New York City. It was the first time that I felt like I could do something far in this sport.
But the real story started when details of her compensation package came out. According to multiple tennis media reports, Gauff's total earnings from the event, including prize money, appearance fees, and performance bonuses, reportedly climbed to that massive $25 million figure. To put that into perspective, that is more than Pete Sampras earned in prize money across his entire 14-year career, and more than Martina Navratilova made during her playing days. The scale of money in modern tennis has reached a level that would have sounded completely unreal just 15 years ago.
I remember she's about 5 or 6 years old, and we were watching Australian Open. Serena wins. I remember saying, man, she's going to be the GOAT. And she said, what is the GOAT? I said, that's the greatest of all time. She's like, I want to be a GOAT. So I ran out and bought a racket. That's kind of how it all started.
Sabalenka has claimed Grand Slam titles over the past 2 years and has also reached the world number one spot through standard tennis rankings based on wins and losses. She has arguably been the most consistent and successful player in recent times. Yet when it comes to endorsements, appearance fees, and massive prize deals, there remains a noticeable gap. People close to the Belarusian star suggest she is no longer staying silent about this situation. Shortly after the Wuhan finals, Sabalenka delivered comments in a press conference that many saw as direct and intentional. She stated that sometimes in tennis the attention seems to go towards certain players, no matter who is actually winning tournaments. She did not name anyone, but it was clear to everyone in the room exactly who she was referring to.
I grew up with the philosophy that sport can help you become a better person. And I want to be remembered as somebody who used their tennis to impact other people. I'll take that. These are the courts I grew up playing on. When I was a kid, my dad and I, were looking for us or whatever, we'd probably be out here on this first court.
The Wuhan Open has grown into one of the most financially powerful tournaments outside the Grand Slam, with major Chinese sponsors investing heavily to raise its global profile. Organizers are especially focused on attracting high-profile players who can capture worldwide attention. And Gauff fits that image perfectly. At just 21 years old, she is already a U.S. Open champion with millions of followers across social media platforms. She has secured major endorsement deals with Nike, New Balance, Barilla, and Rolex, while also featuring on major magazine covers like Vogue and Time. From a marketing standpoint, she is seen as a true needle mover, a player whose presence can instantly lift ticket sales and TV ratings. However, the situation becomes more complex when viewed through tennis tradition. The sport has long promoted itself as a pure meritocracy, where results decide value. Players earn based on performance, rankings are objective, and Grand Slam prize money equal for men and women. Yet when you step back and look at the full earnings picture, including endorsements and appearance fees, the reality is far from equal. Some top players can earn millions simply for entering a tournament, while others with similar skill levels receive far less. Tournament directors often admit privately that they work with budgets for appearance fees and choose to spend that money on players who can guarantee ticket sales and higher viewership. From a business perspective, it makes sense. But for players like Sabalenka, who feel they are delivering strong results on court, it creates a sense of unfair imbalance. Now, let's break down the reported $25 million figure based on estimates gathered by tennis journalists.
Remarkable. She's the youngest qualifier in history, and now she's about to compete against her idol, Venus Williams.
It felt like a storybook.
Her game is so calm and so focused.
I just remember not looking at the scoreboard the entire match because I didn't want to see her name. The hardest points of the match were the match points. It felt like I was holding my breath. I don't want to be known as the girl who got closed.
The official prize money for winning the Wuhan Open final sits at around $3 million, at least in public records. However, Gauff's participation reportedly came with an appearance fee close to $5 million, paid simply for her to show up and compete. On top of that, her sponsor contracts include performance bonuses, meaning winning major tournaments while wearing their branding can unlock additional payouts worth seven figures each. When you combine prize money, appearance fees, sponsor bonuses, and the spike in endorsement value after a major win, the total reportedly reaches around $25 million. Sabalenka, according to sources, made about $6 million from the same tournament run. That is still a strong figure, but it is less than a quarter of Gauff's total earnings. The key difference is not in the official prize money, where both players earn similar amounts based on results. The real gap comes from everything surrounding the sport beyond the court. That Sabalenka's appearance fees are reportedly much lower. And while her endorsement deals are solid, they still don't reach the scale of Gauff's major partnerships. This is where the frustration starts to grow. For fans who remember tennis from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, today's financial landscape can feel like an entirely different world. When Chris Evert won Wimbledon in 1974, the prize money was about £10,000, roughly $15,000, which would still be under $100,000 today, even after inflation. Legends like Martina Navratilova earned around $21 million in total career prize money, while Steffi Graf finished just under $22 million, amounts that now would match what Gauff can earn from a single modern tournament. The sports money began rising sharply in the early 2000s when Serena Williams became the first female tennis player to pass $90 million in career prize money. But even she took years to build her biggest endorsement deals, winning her first Grand Slam in 1999, and only later securing multi-million dollar sponsorships. In contrast, Gauff had already signed major endorsement contracts before even winning her first Grand Slam.
I was 10 in this picture. It was a big deal because to tell somebody you're a national champion, they think you're legit. When I kind of made my name in the sport at Wimbledon 2019, this is one of the dresses that I wore throughout.
She was already a marketing phenomenon before she ever became a champion. And that reflects the new reality of the sport. Sabalenka, on the other hand, represents a very different journey. She comes from Belarus, a country without the same global media reach as the United States. And she did not speak fluent English when she entered the professional tour. Her rise came through raw power tennis, grit, and an aggressive style built on intensity and competitiveness. She is widely respected and highly popular among serious tennis fans who value her on-court game. However, she has not broken into mainstream celebrity status in the same way Gauff has. And in today's tennis economy, that crossover is where the biggest financial rewards are found. The tension reached a peak after Wuhan, with online tennis forums and social media exploding into debate. Some fans insisted Gauff deserves every dollar because she brings massive attention and visibility to the sport, while others argued it is unfair that commercial appeal seems to outweigh pure results on the court. Even a few former players began to share their views publicly. Tracy Austin, a two-time U.S. Open champion, added to the debate by posting on social media that tennis should reward tennis. A comment that quickly gained thousands of likes and fueled even more discussion about the sport's direction. The issue also sits within a larger historical context. Women's tennis has spent decades fighting for equal recognition and equal pay, with Billie Jean famously threatening to boycott the 1973 U.S. Open unless women were paid equally. That battle was eventually won, but it took years of pressure and change. And Wimbledon only introduced equal prize money in 2007. Because of that history, any modern discussion about earnings differences, even between female players, becomes highly sensitive. Some view Gauff's massive earnings as progress and a win for women's sports, while others see it as a sign that the system remains unequal, just in a different form. Sabalenka does have support within the locker room. But most players are cautious about speaking openly since tennis is a small competitive world where everyone meets repeatedly on tour. Still, according to reporters who follow the circuit closely, there is underlying tension with some players feeling that endorsement deals and appearance fees are not fairly distributed, especially when social media popularity seems to outweigh Grand Slam success, leaving questions about whether the sport is moving in the right direction. Gauff has not directly responded to any of the criticism. She has remained diplomatic in interviews, saying she is grateful for the opportunities she has received and fully focused on improving her game. Her team is aware of the ongoing debate, but largely treats it as background noise, pointing out that Gauff has fulfilled every commitment, actively promoted the sport, and used her platform to support causes she believes in. In their view, she is not simply earning money, but building a long-term legacy around her career. Still, the situation around Wuhan has pushed tennis into a broader conversation it may need to confront. Should tournaments be allowed to pay huge appearance to certain players while others receive far less? Should the ability to draw a crowd matter as much as winning matches? Is this simply the natural direction of modern sports in the social media era? Or is something essential being lost along the way? There are no simple answers. Tournament directors argue they need star power to stay financially strong. Sponsors invest in athletes who can connect with audiences. And players believe they should be based on the value they bring to the sport.